I was vacuuming my house at 9:30 p.m. with my music playing when I get a knock on my door. My boyfriend was at work and I was not expecting company, especially so late at night. I turn my music down and realize the door is not fucking locked. Instantly, I'm terrified. I'm only 4 feet 10 inches, so I had to prop myself up the wall to look through the peephole, carefully lock the door. More pounding. The man outside my door is no one that I recognize, looks disgruntled, dirty, quite frightening. He was short and stocky and looked angry. He grew frustrated knowing I just turned my music down. He heard me lock the door and started calling out, "Ma'am." More knocking. "Excuse me, ma'am." How the fuck did he know I was a woman? I look around the room and see my blinds were open. And realize he must have been watching me vacuum. Thankfully, my neighbors right across from me opened their doors. The husband asked, "Excuse me, who are you and what are you doing?" Startled, the creep fumbles and says, "Oh, good evening, sir. I was just going to offer my carpet cleaning services to her." The husband goes, "That's great. She doesn't want it. You need to leave right now." Creep left promptly. Afterwards, I called the police. My boyfriend closed up my blinds and texted the neighbors to thank them for scaring him away. I paid extra to live on the top floor, but it seems this creep was watching me from below. My brother is creepy. Help. Okay, so my brother is really creepy. We have about a 3-year age gap. When we were younger, he used to scare the shit out of me. My parents used to just think it was kids being kids, but as we got older it would get worse. He used to walk out of the kitchen with a knife and just stare at me with it. My parents would never believe it when I would say something. As we continued to grow older, he became more violent, as in he used to try to fight me, but it wouldn't be just play fighting, there would be actual punches and kicks involved, and since I was smaller I would come out with bruises. But he eventually grew more touchier, like he would brush up against me just to touch my lower back. At first I just thought it was just an accident, but he just kept going lower. Eventually I caught on that it wasn't an accident. I always told him to stop, but he didn't. So I eventually started yelling at him to stop. He did for a while, but still here and there he would do it. Recently, as in like 2 months ago when I turned 18, I found a hidden camera in my bathroom. I instantly knew it was his. I took it and took out the SD card and put the SD card in my lockbox and hid the camera in my room. 2 days later the camera was gone from my room, but I still have the SD card. About a month later there was this new clock in the bathroom and I just thought my mom bought it. But I checked it for cameras and didn't see any on the clock, but out of precaution I always has it covered or unplugged. Last week I found the old camera replaced with a new one. I asked my mom today if she was the one who bought the clock for the bathroom, and she said that she thought I bought it. So right away I went and checked it for a camera, and I found one. But that isn't the only thing weird, but at night he paces up and down our hallway, most nights only for about a minute. Sometimes he likes to knock on my door, or just stared at me when I'm not in my room. Right now I am in the process of sweeping my room for cameras because I still have no idea how he found that camera I hid in my room. Which literally freaks me out. I have no idea of what to do. I know I should probably tell my mom, but he gives me serious killer vibes. But I am also saving to get my own apartment, so hopefully I can do that and just avoid him. This happened when I was 19. Listen to the hairs on the back of your neck. My girlfriend and I were months away from being parents for the first time, and we were both working jobs. I worked in retail as a key holder. She was working as an assistant manager at a place in the local strip mall. After my shift one day, I took the deposit bag, wrapped it up in my work clothes, put all of that in a bag, and I went to walk the 5 or so minutes to my girlfriend's work. Just before I got to the door of the mall, a man came up and asked me if I could help start his car. He needs to get to work, but he can't do it himself. Now growing up, my family had cars like that, so I was like, damn, air intake or whatever, and I said I'd help. We walk around the corner of the mall to where a car is sitting. That's the car I'm gonna help start. I think to myself, man, so we just need to get in and I'll drive you to my car. I need help starting. Hairs on the back of my neck start to rise. I have ignored gut instincts before. That is how I am with this GF at this time, but this is a sensation that very clearly is telling me, ignore these physiological warnings at your certain peril. I quickly explained to him I thought this was going to be a very quick thing and I have somewhere I need to be and I'm already late. I apologize and walk away from him into the mall, and watch him leave in the car before going to my girlfriend's workplace. I tell her we are going to scrap our plans for dinner and make it home ASAP, dropping the deposit bag on the way. As we're crossing the parking lots to head to the bank in a roundabout way, we see the same dude, who was in a hurry to get to work, SLOWLY, driving around a Target parking lot just scoping people out. There is no doubt in my mind I would have certainly regretted getting into a car with that man that day. There is a good chance I wouldn't be able to type this story out today. Hidden camera in the hotel I was showering in, so my stupid brand new water heater broke down from all the calcium and things in the water, and so we rented a hotel room so we could all get a shower. My hubby and teenage daughters had gone first. While they took their shower, I had already been looking for cameras after shows and articles depicting warnings to check had me freaked out. My husband had laughed at me. So I thought we were safe. It wasn't until I was actually standing inside the shower that I saw the camera. You had to see it from a certain angle wrapped around the light that had a cover over the bottom of it but an opening all the way around the edges in the middle. I looked up and there it was. I screamed, face screaming in fear, and my hubby came running in. I told him when it was and he checked, and sure enough, he took the bottom cover off and the camera fell down and was actually wired to the light and set to sit and point looking down into the shower. My husband ripped it out and marched straight to the office, and from there a fight ensued. The creepy guy got pissed my husband was destroying his room and the owner called the cops. Well, my hubby is a hothead when he's on a moral mission and grabbed the guy up by the scruff of the collar, his mentality being if I'm going to go to jail I'm going to make it worth it. But the guy's wife come out, and by then I was dressed and there for backup, and she wanted to know what was happening. So I told her what happened. She said wait right here. She had grabbed a knife from her room and was chasing the owner guy around with it flushed face when the cops showed up. The cops asked us what happened first. When we told them, they took the owner in and apparently found hundreds of videos in a private nook in his bedroom they're using to build a case on him with, so beware to check everywhere before ever undressing in a hotel. Creep in the store. There's a happy ending to this story. I'm 6 feet 8 inches and a bodybuilder. I have a buzz cut and at least 30 tattoos all over my body. Plot twist, I'm a lesbian. This wasn't really my problem, but I stuck my nose in because I'm not a heartless asshole. People who know me always say the first thing they thought when they met me was, holy shit, she is scary. But now my nickname is GG for short of Gentle Giant. That's my background for this. This was happening to a girl when I was at the store. I was at Target and was there to just grab mac cheese then leave. I walked down the aisle and saw a girl backed against the shelf by a man. He was wearing a huge gray coat, which was weird as hell because it was 90 out. I was wearing a tank top and some shorts while the girl was wearing a dress, so what this guy's problem was. She shot me a look of surprise and alert, then looked back at the guy quickly. I have bad hearing and am almost deaf in one ear, so I couldn't hear what the man was talking about. I started walking forward and caught the end of what he was saying. The guy, we're gonna call him Max, cute girl is going to be Jessie, red one is yours, right? I'll meet you there and we can go back to my place. That sound fun, doll? Max asked. His voice made me wish I was actually deaf. Hey. Sorry I took so long, I had to help some lady out. Who's your new friend here? I asked when I got to them. Jesse let out a sigh of relief when he turned my way. He looked up at me in confusion, then looked back to her. Who's this doll? He asked, looking back to her. I'm her girlfriend. What do you want? I asked cautiously. Me and doll are gonna go back to my place, he said and smiled creepily at her. No, we are heading back home. Come on, let's go. We are not coming back to this Target, it has a Walmart problem, I said and watched as she nodded frantically while speed walking over to me. Come on, doll. Are you really going to go with this chick? I'll show you the right side. I bet I can change your mind even. He yelled loudly and took off after us. We had started walking in the middle of his speech. I had already told her I was gonna pick her up because I was sure he would go after her. She is only 5 feet 2 inches if you wanted to know. As soon as she tapped me, I picked her up and set her on my shoulders. I felt the guy ram into me a second later. He was only 5 feet 6 inches and didn't have any muscle on him from what I could see. He kinda bounced off and started yelling nonsense while following us. We made it to a worker who called the police and they took him away in handcuffs. The whole time this is happening, he's trying to punch me or grab her and is failing horribly. Funny thing is, I stayed with her the rest of the trip and walked her to her car. She gave me her number and now we are going to be married in a week. This happened 2 years ago and now she's going to be my wife.